And that's how we started off with the best.
Yes!
Okay. Start out the gate hate. I see that.
Hey yo!
So welcome to our season finale of Ring of Power, our Fellowship of Fandom. This is episode 8. We're going to review this. We're going to go through all the nuts and bolts of that episode and a few awards from the back end of the season just to tie up some loose ends. But I'm Dia and joined by Doc. Our Jen, she's here this week. Do we want to waste any time? It's been 8 episodes. They should know how
let's go.
If you want to know who we are, look at the other videos. We have done 7 introductions.
Let's go. Let's get in this thing.
All right. Let me get this ready here. So, just to recap, the season 2 finale of Lord of the Rings of Power, Shadow and Flame, we opened the episode with tension between Durin and his father, King Durin. The king makes the fateful decision to dig deeper into Khazad. There it is, despite warnings. This action leads to the awakening of the Balrog. The Balrog emerges from the depths of Khazad with a terrifying force. In an attempt to stop the creature, King Durin sacrifices himself, charging headlong at the demon with his son's axe in hands. Tragically, the Balrog strikes him down, obliterating him in a devastating explosion, sealing the mountain from the Balrog for now. We then move on. Celebrimbor is tortured both physically and psychologically by Sauron, who is determined to extract the location of the 9 rings. Despite the immense pain inflicted on him, Celebrimbor bravely, and I wrote this, bravely refuses to surrender his crucial information. In a moment of defiance, he declares that the rings are beyond Sauron's reach, delivering a powerful statement about the eventual downfall of Sauron due to his overreaching ambition. Ultimately, Celebrimbor's resistance proves futile as Sauron tortuously murders him, stabbing him with a spear, and he pinned him to that pillar. In his dying moments, Celebrimbor speaks defiantly again, calling him a prisoner and foreshadowing that eventual defeat. We then move on. Galadriel leads the elves, trying to hold the line. Adar, despite having earlier returned Galadriel's ring in an attempt to form an alliance, is gruesomely betrayed and killed by his own arcs, marking a pivotal moment in the battle between good and evil. Galadriel faces a brutal confrontation with Sauron, who stabs her with Morgoth's crown and takes control of the 9 rings. There was a little jump over in Numenor where we see the Queen and the faithful.
I know, right?
If you're faithful, they were coming at you. The betrayal was there. Elendil is sent away. And obviously that sword, how they pulled that out, that seemed like that was an homage to Return of the King, or that might be the same sword. That's why we have Jen here, everybody. That's why we have
the sword.
So then we move on. So Durin and the dwarves arrive to assist the siege of I'm helping to turn the tide of the battle briefly, but their intervention comes too late to prevent the worst. Meanwhile, the stranger, whose identity has long been speculated, finds the solution in his journey. It is heavily implied that the stranger is who we thought he was from the beginning, Gandalf, and he embraces his name and the power after resisting the Dark Wizard's temptation and ends up finding his staff, or his staff finding him. In the aftermath of the battle, Galadriel is killed by Elrond using the ring and use the ring. Then the elves regroup. They have suffered great losses. The stage is set for them to continue the fight against Sauron in future seasons. So that was a mouthful. What do we think? Jen, I'm going to give it to you first. Jen, what's your take on this whole episode?
Masterpiece.
You got the floor.
Masterpiece.
Absolute masterpiece.
This is an absolute
masterpiece.
This is an absolute masterpiece. I really, especially with that intro, I literally yelled, "That was the intro!"
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's Lord of the Rings is so cinematic in so many ways, as it should be, and the originals, are a testament to that. But then seeing this moment, I wish this was in an IMAX theater where I should be watching this in its full true glory, because this moment was so powerful.
Man,
It was good.
On so many levels. The King Durin redeems himself. He comes back to his true mind. He actually apologizes to his son, which he refused to do in the beginning. Yeah. So we see actual growth there. And then it's just a beautiful moment to where Durin, Disa, Narvel, and some of the dwarves actually got to see their king defend them in the way he would have in his right mind before he had the ring. So it was just such a powerful, profound moment. And I honestly, I rewound this a couple times just watching it.
Well, it was the intro. It was before the credits, even the opening credits.
I know it's insane, but it's just like this moment was
that intro was fire. Thank you, Mina.
Yes, it is, Mina. It's a really beautiful moment on so many levels, from a cinematic special effects perspective to the caliber of the actors in this scene and the emotions they convey. I could just go on about this scene.
Yeah,
but this is a masterpiece through and through. Oh my gosh, there's so much that happened.
What's your highlights and takeaways from the season 2 finale? And we'll meticulously go through everything there, but just want to get those initial reactions.
This was definitely a big highlight for me because this was just epic. I mean, you can't that moment where the axe and the sword. So good. Another moment for me that was very heartfelt was that there was so many moments, but like when the dwarves actually came and kept their word that they actually got there, not when they were, but then like seeing the High King say dwarves.
Yes. Once I heard that horn, I was like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
Like, hey, you didn't see that one coming. Another one was the confrontation between Galadriel and Sauron. That was an epic fight. But then also another one, I got a little ahead. Like again, there's so many. Celebrimbor and his prophecy of Frodo.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, he can see. The prophecy of Frodo, the confrontation of Galadriel and Sauron. And then, oh man, there's so many in here. Also, like when the Relves come to the place that will become Rivendell and the High King holds up the sword and then just everyone rallying going, yes.
Yeah, the power fists were high in the kingdom.
Like, and this scene, someone actually posted this on one of the Lord of the Rings Facebook groups. There's actually a picture that was, I think, drawn by Tolkien, a painting that looks very similar to this, and they based it off that artwork that he did.
Oh, that'd be great. That's good. I'm gonna look that up after this.
I'll send it to you.
It looks like a painting.
No, I'll send it to you because there's a particular painting that it was referenced. And I'm so happy to see that they did that. Like, that's another thing I love about this whole show overall, especially with the ending of the season. Another highlight, they are sticking to lore. Like they're going with the lore. And Samuel Tolkien has actually been on set advising the writers and the directors and things. So it's really cool that we actually have a Tolkien on this set. Honoring this legacy and great masterful work that we've had for generations. So yeah, I can keep going. I'm going to stop now.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful. So
he's going to grab the mic.
Hey, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Do you understand? Y'all follow me. When I hold this thing up, what you say? Khazad!
Doom!
Khazad! Bro, one of the most impactful moments I have seen this entire season, dog.
Yes.
Right after he got finished telling his son a dwarf should never beg. And then he said, son, come look at this. Saw all the mithril, the water flowing. It was beautiful. And your boy B was out there. He was like, yeah, let me ruin all this. Is he with that whip, bro? Is he not? He precise with that thing, dog. That's the greatest. That right here was one of the greatest cinematic shots of this entire series, dog.
They saved this one.
Man, it was beautiful.
Mm.
Now, moving along to my second highlight. Okay, I finally got to a point where I was like, Celebrimbor, it wasn't a bum so much, you know. I got to that point, dog. When he stood up and said, "Hear me," pay attention.
Yes.
Because I'm about to tell you something you need to be listening for. Man, let me tell you, and your boy Sauron, I don't know where he get his clothes from. Your boy be dressing.
Yeah, that's a takeaway. That's
yes.
That's his magic. He just uses his magic to dress
I
himself.
don't know, like if you've really paid attention to every
outfit
and every different scene.
But after that, we talked about like how it's gotten darker every single episode too.
And even his armor. Did you see? Were you paying attention to his armor when he was fighting Galadriel? Man,
yes.
All right. Now we go the king, the High King. Now, and I was thinking about this because this is one of my takeaways from this episode because we all thought your boy was Adar stabbed him up pretty good, left him in the mud. I think the king went back and started healing people with his ring. I think he knows his ring can heal. If y'all see where
because he did get stabbed a lot in the
Yes, he did. So that was another takeaway from this episode. And then Nori deciding that she has to walk her own path.
Oh yeah.
Man, but let's get into it, bro. It's a lot.
We have to talk through a lot, man.
It's
a lot.
A lot. So we'll try to keep it through the notes that we have, but if we go somewhere else, hey, it won't hurt at all. So man, we talked a lot just starting off. Well, my initial highlights too. My biggest one from this one was Celebrimbor 2. Obviously, I've grown an affinity towards Celebrimbor because he's manipulated, but it was vanity. Jewelry. It was vanity too, you know. But to see his sort of redemption, almost of like, you know, your downfall is coming. It's going to be by something or someone you would never expect. Which we know since we've read the end of the book and seen the movie, who's that downfall coming from.
I wrote out the exact quote, if you don't mind me reading.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Celebrimbor stated, "The rings of power shall destroy you, and in the end, I foresee one alone shall prove your utter ruin." And I was like, Frodo Baggins of the Shire.
Yes.
Yeah, with an assist from Sam. Sam took the shot. Or would have taken a shot. But we were sealing Khazad-dûm. That's the only. Well, we got to revisit Khazad-dûm one more time in that episode. So since we talked about the opening and that was that initial opening, let's go back to Khazad-dûm where there was an empty crown. I mean, an empty throne.
Yeah.
Right. And now there are people saying that King Durin might not have been his dad's successor. Yeah. So
not the preferred.
Not the preferred successor. Yeah. So seeing how that's going to move into season 3, because in my mind, I was like, oh, he's automatically.
I didn't even know he had a brother.
He does. He has a brother.
Yeah. So that's going to be sort of, that's going to be a big part of season 3, obviously, when it comes to Khazad-dûm. So let's get straight. So it sealed up the Balrog for now, right? Like that whole collapse, he's sealed from them for now.
For now, because he was having difficulty trying to climb up there. Yeah, even though he has wings, but everything he grabbed on, whatever, put him down. And then I think with that explosion between the axe and the sword that he had, I think that probably caused a bigger explosion, which probably would keep him down for now, which would probably give Durin and Disa and those people time to leave the mountain, you know what I'm saying, or leave that part of the mountain.
Yeah, so Balrog is closed back up, but this is going to be the, I believe this is the same, because Balrog, there's actually more than one Balrog. There's multiple of them. He's not the only one. I believe this is the same one that we will see in the Fellowship of the Ring, where that has a confrontation of Gandalf, because they do reference when the dwarves dug too deep and woke him up. So this is the same one. So we will see him again later. I don't recall if he wakes up again and causes more issues with the other dwarven kings before they vacate the mountain and Smaug comes in. into that. So that's where I have to do a little bit more homework on my part. But this is going to be the one in the Fellowship.
But that was a great introduction to him for
Yeah.
this, because we know that he's lurking the whole time.
Yeah.
Any more takeaways from our time in Khazad-dûm? Because like I said, we were there to beginning, and then we saw the empty throne to sort of figure out that whole
cinematic beauty.
Oh gosh, yes.
And the music, man.
Yes.
Darren McCreary, man.
This
just the music.
composer.
I could not even watch this and just listen to the music alone, dog. Like it was that impactful.
It's one of the soundtracks. Well, I will buy the whole thing and just listen to it through.
Like it's really good. I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't even listen to the music when I watch. Man, that's what I go to movies for. You know, I know people think that's weird, and I would tell people this when I was getting my degree in music. They was like, why do you go to so many movies? It's to listen to the music. I want to write scores for film, so that's my way of studying. You know,
and some people have a favorite composer, like when what was it? Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters came out. The only reason why I went to go see that film is because Hans Zimmer did the music. I'm like,
good grief.
Like, Hans did the music? I'm gonna go.
Any of those guys doing the music? Yeah. Go watch the film.
So given with that and our time in Khazad-dûm, let's go to Celebrimbor and Sauron's interaction. I think that was.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing about Khazad-dûm.
Oh, go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
So what I loved that moment between the king and Balrog, because the people got to see their king in the way he was supposed to be, and I think what just a redemptive moment. And I think one of those dwarfs that came in to pull Durin back, who had a lot of white hair and a white beard, is one of the dwarfs we will see in the Fellowship of the Ring. Like, he looked very similar to him, and I was like, "Is that?"
Or in the Hobbit, right?
Or in the Hobbit.
Right, the Hobbit. Yeah. I was like, "Is that?" No. Wait a minute.
That's gonna be worth a rewatch just to see for me now, to see like okay, let's just go up there.
One of the things I love about Amazon Prime is when you pause on a scene, it lists all of the actors and the characters there are. So I want to go see in that moment if they list him and if they have a certain name from The Hobbit of a dwarf that I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I will say Amazon.
Look, she got me curious now. I'm like, I need to rewind it.
I will say Amazon does a great job on that, on being able to quickly find out who's who. Because
all other streaming platforms, can you please take a note in Amazon and just start doing that?
It's either that or I pause it in Google. So and then I was like, or I'm like, hey, who's the voice of that person? And I go back there. But to jump a little bit, just to Celebrimbor and Sauron, I felt like this was my highlight of the episode for me.
They stuck to lore. Like,
so lore wise, this is how it ended for.
He had to get tortured, man. He had to get tortured.
Yeah,
he made him rage away.
It's like what we talked about last week, where we were bringing it up, and because like I said, it's like, well, I already know how he dies. It's just a matter of
will they stick to it?
Are they going to do it? And they did. So yeah, according to lore, Sauron basically tortures Celebrimbor for a long while before finally putting him on a spear.
Boy, and he easily just like put him up there too, and just propped him up. Like he's the image of him in that broken down workshop, and it was like this. Yeah. It's hard to explain. Doc, take it away, man. What was your?
So this is what when just at the beginning, your man just.
I know, right? Just arrows to him.
And then he just smoothly walked over there and was, hey, tell me where the ring's at. Hey, I was almost there with you, Mina. I don't be crying.
Yeah.
I was almost there with you.
Well, you never liked Celebrimbor either.
Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with great storytelling, bro. And I do as many movies as you and I watch. We ain't never watched nobody get tortured like that. This man was shooting him so precise. He knew where the arrows were and how to touch them to make more pain. It was a beautiful and disturbing scene at the same time.
He says to him, he says to Celebrimbor, shall I also show you my craft in that, keeping you alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like I said, it's a scary and beautiful moment at the same time. And then this, do you have the shot when he stood up and told Sauron,
Oh,
listen,
I don't have that
hear
one.
me. And he stood up and that man said, hear me. And that's when I ain't gonna lie, boy, I almost shed one for Celebrimbor, son.
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
There it is.
And
there it
he
is.
was like, turn around and listen to me, because I need you to understand from this point forward, you won't get your hands on those rings, right? Because that's what he was saying. And you will not get the location for me, because I'm going to a place where you could never reach. You understand me?
And that's all lore, because according to lore, Celebrimbor never tells Sauron anything.
And when he told him he was about to catch those winds he couldn't reach, the man turned around with that spear and stuck him up a pillar.
So here's the question I had. Was that tear down Sauron's face genuine?
Yes.
I think he really wanted to be his friend, just like he really wanted Galadriel to be his wife.
I completely agree. And they actually talk about this in some of the behind the scenes episodes available on Amazon Prime, that was done intentionally because he's trying to find people that will support his cause. He's wanting to find people that will stand with him. And no matter how you look at it, Celebrimbor and Sauron have a relationship. They've been making these things together for months. Months. Like, this just didn't happen in a matter of days. This was in a span of months.
Yeah, man. Like, he really, when they were calling each other friend in the previous episodes, like, they were friends. Like,
they were really friends.
They were boys,
love this dude, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, just imagine going around Middle Earth for thousands of years. You can't find nobody that look like you. That's going to make you shed a tear, bro, when you find somebody you think like you and it's going to be down for you.
But I mean, at the same time, he was still manipulating him. But at the same time, it's like there was still sort of some bond of friendship there.
Well, no, like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you think he wanted to kill the absolute greatest elven smith ever?
I would say, you know, watching this scene, you can see how when people resist Sauron and call him out on his crap, if that's what you to say on the channel, he gets triggered because he feels like he's not being heard, and he responds in anger and death because he is technically the right hand of the devil. Who killed the devil is now the new devil. So, like, it's like, I think this is why I love storytelling, because you can find things you can relate to. This is basically, if you take Lord of the Rings out of it and Tolkien out of it, this is a narcissistic relationship.
Yep,
very much so.
This is a narcissistic relationship where someone entered into no matter what type of a relationship it is, friendship, guardian, whatever, starting out in a good place, but then the person over time manipulating, gaslighting, doing all this stuff, and you learn, crap, this person is a narcissist, and I'm trapped. That's exactly what this is.
So
that's a great analogy.
And then like, the monologues in this episode from certain characters like Celebrimbor just hit. Like, I read the prophecy before, but then his last words were, "You are their prisoner, Sauron, Lord of the Rings." And
when he's
oh my gosh.
Oh, he was so hurt when he was like, "But I created them. How can I be their prisoner?" Oh, no, you are.
You want to talk about, like, you rewatched the first scene. I rewatched this one too. Yeah. I started over the first one too. I'm not gonna lie. I watched them both twice. So but I was like, I made sure to watch this one again because, man, like, to be tortured the way that he was, and we didn't even see all the arrows go in.
Or hours.
Yeah, so in our mind, he's been there, and he's still, it was a level of redemption, a level of, like, I liked he went out that way. That was
he went out like a G now.
That was a great end. Well, I say a great ending for him, but for us, I guess, of that character and just of this overall story, was a button on top. So, but moving on just a little bit. Anything else about Celebrimbor and Sauron? Any other notes? Any other takeaways? Any other moments that we may have missed?
That was a great scene, man.
It was
flawless.
It was a really impactful scene. I loved I will keep saying this, the actors in this show and the caliber of artistry they have shown and how they portray these characters. I want all of them to get Emmys and Oscars.
Now, I was gonna say I don't know if they give Emmys for Amazon shows, bro, but they
this one
they
needs
need the sweep, bro.
They need this one needs a sweep. I mean, like, just like when I watch shows like this, I really think on where I started with the actors in season 1, what they look like, their emotions, and just where they have arced to now. Now that Celebrimbor is now no longer with us, that's the end. We're done with this story. So it's just what a beautiful way to honor this character that Tolkien came up with and to display him in this way. I mean, just bravo. Like this full beautiful suite.
That's magnificent.
So moving on to someone else who is moving on. Hey man,
this was beautiful.
Adar was a handsome man back in the day, man.
You talking about shedding a tear for the bad guy?
All of them.
Well, let's talk about this too, because obviously, again, an antagonist of this season, right? Everything he's done has been that of an antagonist. But to get to this point where he's like, "Hey, let's band together and do what we need to do." But I know, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. But I'll ask this question, Doc, to you. The betrayal that happened with your homeboy, what Glug is his name?
Oh, yes. I think that for Glug, probably his firstborn, way Glug be talking to him.
Dang it, Glug.
Let me explain something.
I agree with me on those.
Hey, man, your boy, when he turned around off the bended knee, Galadriel stood there like, ooh, wee. Come on, Doc. Your man's handsome.
Hey, dude, hey. Oh my.
Dude, let me tell you. And so he chopping it up with his girl. They kicking it. They about to be in alignment. You know what I'm saying? And
he vows for peace between Mordor and the elves, and to never wage war.
All he ever wanted was Sauron to be dead. That's it. He didn't even care about the rings. If he hadn't known about those rings, he still would be just trying to hunt Sauron down. So excuse me. But this moment was a beautiful moment because I wasn't expecting him to give her that ring back.
It shows the strength of character he has.
Yeah, exactly. And the way he said, when she says his name, and he was like, that was the name.
She rolled the R just a little bit more. I was like, and
the way he said, I want to earn that name back. And then he gave her that ring.
That hit.
Man, just like that moment, he was just like.
So I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't see the betrayal coming.
I saw it coming.
We saw him go to Sauron. We saw Glug go to Sauron. So I was like, okay, he's just another henchman for Sauron until he came back being dragged.
It's that little part when Glug asked, "Are you him?" And he says, "I go by many names."
Yeah.
And then he looks at Glug and asks him, "What's his name?"
Uruk.
Because your man, he asked him what's his name, and your man's didn't treat him like that. You know what I'm saying? That little bit of that.
Adar, he's been calling him his children forever.
That. But whenever you feel disrespected and upset with your parents, don't you go to the other one? That's what we did as kids.
I think with that moment though, because this is one thing I was thinking on that I know for the sake of time we can't cover all of the details in the true extent we need to. But it's a question I had was, why did Glug betray Adar? I get that he was seeing Adar changing and being manipulated by Sauron in his own way by, being obsessed with him. But what was the one thing
I'm going to tell you what it was
that tipped the scale for him to turn? I mean, this has to happen anyway because the orcs end up with Sauron. It was just a matter of how it was going to happen.
But it's the moment when Adar told him to release Brody from the last show. And he realized he would go after Sauron no matter what the cost was, no matter how many of my brothers died, no matter how many of your children died. I just want Sauron dead, and I will sacrifice all of y'all. That's when Glug was like,
he backed out. He
That's
backed
what-
out on him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So
Because that's what I was thinking
saw it
too.
come.
But we saw him sort of. And we talked about it a little bit last week when we saw it. But no, it was like if he just would have waited a little while and seen this version of this plan now, do you think he would have still been on board? Do you think Glug would have still
not
turned?
after that one moment. He would have still turned on him. Especially standing there talking to the fork-tongued devil himself.
Yeah, I think for him, hearing Adar say that, it was just another betrayal of another elf in a way. Because he is an elf, as were the orcs. Orcs were formerly elves, technically. So it's like another betrayal that he's been through to like, I can't really trust anyone. Well, let me go back to him. I mean, I remember what he said on that day before we killed him, where he wanted to bring us. Maybe that is the right path. Second guessing.
Can you put back up what Mina said? I missed that.
Oh no, just that the look on his face is like, oh, I see how it is.
Yeah, no.
After that,
precisely, yes.
Man,
but obviously he gets the exact same death as
I wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, he got Caesared up real good.
Yeah, Caesared up. Boy. Man, but I fell for him when he reached out and said, "My children," and Sauron says softly, "They're not children anime." And I was like, "Wow."
And that just goes to show you everybody and everything grows. And that goes to show you right there when he said that, man. It's a cold moment, bro.
It was. But how did you guys feel about this one too? Like, that's
I was saying
for Adar because being the antagonist. Jen, go ahead.
I really felt for him because initially, he wanted to get away from Sauron and have the orcs live in peace. But then with the obsession of going after Sauron and, him being open to manipulation of Sauron, which is why he got the orcs, he did succumb to that. I mean, that's very evident. And basically failing his children. But then it just shows that you can't trust Sauron because he, like that moment he had with Galadriel, I think last episode where they asked each other, what did he promise you? He said, children. What did he promise you? This. And he gave it to him, but what did he do? He's like, give it back.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's taking back what he always wanted to be his. So
yeah, I felt
terrible for him.
Yeah, I enjoyed this character. Granted, he was out to get Sauron by any means necessary. Understandable. But I never really go get feelings for the villain. I try my best not to. But for this character, I was like, okay, I kind of like Jen. You talked about it, the character arc, right? Like where we started to where he ended,
right?
It was a complete 180 because he was willing to put things aside to take it for the greater good, mostly, right?
And I would also say that he's really not the villain. Not really. The villain is Sauron.
That's this guy here. Yeah.
Oh.
So let's just go with it. Let's go with this one.
Oh my.
They have Jen. I'm gonna let you take this one away. So after Adar passes away, is killed. Not passed away. Like Mina said, he got. He got. We go into this part where we see this little battle between Galadriel and Sauron, and where he's talking about, making her his queen, pretty much. So, Jen, enlighten us on this moment.
Man, this is another powerful scene because this is where you really, I know people don't like to do their homework, but you really have to pay attention to sometimes in episodes where things are said repetitively throughout. One of the things that was repeated to get Galadriel was, you can't face him alone again. That was said more than once, which indicates, oh, we're going to see it. Okay, it's coming. So it's important to pay attention to little things like that, because there are clues to where we're going in the season. Because all of that is purposeful when it comes to writing. But this scene was so powerful because she has another opportunity to confront Sauron again and basically stand her ground, because here's another character that succumbed to his
manipulation.
His manipulation. Thank you. Saw the truth for what it was. And, and they touched on, the opening of season 1 when she was a child, when her brother says, to find the light, we first have to touch the darkness. That's exactly what this is. Mm-hmm. She is touching the darkness to find the light, to find the right path, and to use her ring for good. Mm-hmm. So it's very impactful in so many different ways. But again, this is another relationship where Sauron actually has genuine feelings for Galadriel and actually wanted to be with her, not for the right reasons because of his motives, but he really had feelings for her, because the fact that they referenced season 1 and that they both felt a genuine feeling when they were fighting with each other, that was real. Because even she says, no, it's not true. All of it was an illusion. He says, not all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he admitted, no, that actually wasn't me manipulating you. That was real.
That was me dropping my walls.
Right. He actually does have moments where he is vulnerable with certain people, because I think he's like trying to find a team to people to come alongside him with this mission, because, to what he keeps saying, he wants to cleanse Middle Earth. And and she called him, like you did a Region, and she just goes at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the way that he also, when she rejected him 3 times. Like, that's what I wrote in my notes. Rejected 3 times. She rejected him in season 1 the first time. The second time here, and when he said the door's open, she says the door is closed. That was the third rejection.
Yeah.
He loses his temper, and that's when he goes, Kuh!
Right in the chest with that.
In it. And she kept the ring. She did what Elrond did and went over the cliff and just is like, you ain't getting it.
Which was a very, that move alone for her to do that. Yeah, Doc, what about this moment in the season finale?
So first off, it's the crown for me. The simple design, but yet it's still so beautiful. To be used as a weapon, bro, how cold was that when he started to use it as a weapon?
Well, how he was, he easily just blocked that sword.
Dude, that was a cold moment, because she thought she was gonna be an easy win. No, she ain't seen my man fight before.
The fight choreography, I have to commend the fight choreographers.
Man.
Even the difference in style, you can clearly, Sauron has his own style with fighting and the way he moved versus Galadriel and how she moved. The fact that you can see the 2 different distinctions so well, so beautiful. I also have the quote from after he stabs her.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah.
So again, here's how demented this guy is. He loves this beautiful she-elf, stabs her, and just looks at her lovingly, yet really scarily at the same time. It says, I would have placed a crown on your head. I would have never rested until all Middle Earth had been brought to its knees to worship the light of its queen. And I'm like, and you stabbing her into a brick wall as you say that. You are demented.
I mean, that's a certain type of love there. That's a different type of love there to be able to.
The song, what's love got to do with it?
Man,
good grief. No, but I thought this was a fantastic scene. Again, the fight choreography for this too. I almost felt like Sauron's gonna put his hand behind his back almost and sort of start blocking.
Yeah, I thought he was
that way. It felt, because it still felt effortless.
It felt like he was toying with her.
Yeah, he wasn't giving it a little bit everything, his ultimate sort of battle back and forth. So
man, boy, let me tell you something.
So very reminiscent, right, of Return of the King when Aragorn gets the sword, right?
Well, this is his his lineage, and this is sword. Dion,
man. My captain.
I sent you. I sent you an image. I think I DM'd you an image of someone with him Elendil with the sword and Eragon unsheathing the sword.
Yes, yeah.
Because this is his great grandfather.
Yeah.
And it was very like once I saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna pull it out quick, just like he's gonna just
The
gonna be just
moment
like
she
it.
said the sword's name, I was like,
and that's one.
Let me tell you.
And that's one hell of a long sword too. Like that.
Yeah.
It's like Arthur and Excalibur. That's this moment. It's an Excalibur moment. Like that's the sword. Wow.
Yes, that is the sword.
As
Do you understand me? That is the sword.
You two, please don't block us. That's a fake sword. It's fake.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This ain't real.
Plastic.
But it is the sword. Do you understand me? Man, that moment. Beautiful moment, dog.
And again, a very quick trip to Numenor this time out. You know, he gets the sword. Our queen pretty much turns herself over. Farazan is taking out all faithfuls. Man, what else? His Elendil's daughter sort of helps him for the first time. So we'll see where that lands her.
Long time.
Yeah, we'll see. Go ahead, Jen.
So one of the things I always recommend people to do is with certain shows like this is to have closed captions on, because it also
because it also, that's the only way.
It gives you clues of who certain people are and where they're going, because there's a few times certain people called Farazan are Farazan.
Yep.
Who is the wraith in the grave in the Hobbit movie.
Yep.
This is going to be him, because that is that character's name. So that, to me, closed captions confirmed.
Yeah.
Because now he's being called Farazan. So this is he is going to become a wraith in this. And the other thing too about Galadriel, when she got stabbed with the crown, where they say, you know, she's fading into the shadow world. That's what was happening to Frodo. She was slowly becoming a wraith.
That wasn't it?
Yep.
She was slowly becoming a wraith, and they saved her. So, and that was also another beautiful moment for that scene, because I want to get back to this one here too, because this is very important. But you know, like, we actually get to see the power of the rings and why having 3 rings instead of 2 for balance is important. But it shows also how powerful Elrond is, and that Elrond does use the rings' power. So both the High King and Elrond save Galadriel with the power of the rings. And then, can I just also commend the directors, how they held that 4th wall break for as long as they did.
Oh yeah,
where he's looking right down the
just
barrel.
right at the screen.
Yeah, down the barrel camera. Like, that's something else I really loved that they did from an editing perspective. They didn't do too many 4th wall breaks, but when they did, they were beautifully placed and just the right amount of time. And this one, where we actually have a moment from an audience perspective to be in this moment with Elrond when he looks in the camera, just such a powerful moment. Okay. I can go on.
No, that was a powerful moment. I mean, and then, like I said, this is small details. When they were walking the king around, the elves were walking the king around, and the king turned his ring around so they didn't see what he had.
So smart.
Yeah.
When he kneeled before Galadriel and looked at Elrond, was like, "Hey, man, this poison is more than what I got for it. We gonna have to help her." And he turns his ring back around, and that's what made me think, man, because there's a lot of them elves that were still around. Because when we turned around on that last one, the king turned around and started whipping ass with the spear.
Yeah.
It was only a few of them.
There weren't that many.
So I'm thinking it was about 200 orcs, and about 15 of them, they all should have been dead. So in my mind, when I saw that, and then my boy came around the corner, Elendil, when he came around the corner, I was like, the king must have been going around flipping that ring back and forth and healing his people, and like, hey, y'all get on up, come on.
Well, they could they have been inside the walls, or I mean, behind the wall, on the other side of the walls, possibly?
Keep in mind, yes, that's part of it. And then Sauron instructed that the leaders of the elves be kept alive. He wanted the leaders alive. And with him actually coming back and we see that he's fine, this is another indication that the show is really sticking to lore, because this character becomes Mina said it last week, I believe, like becomes like the first guardsman or his special guard to Galadriel. That's what he is in lore. So the fact that they didn't kill him off means that this is an indication they're really sticking to lore, as is the ending with the queen, because I'll do a little spoiler here. Technically, oh, thank you, Mina. She put it in the chat. He's at the first ring. Thank you so much, Mina. So I was happy to see that they didn't do that. So they're sticking with lore and where people have to be for certain events. So Farazan and the queen actually get married according to lore, even though they're first cousins. Like, it's a big ruckus because he's breaking.
I told y'all last week what them cousins do.
He's breaking because of where he ends up and what he does to keep power. That it's the one other way he can remain king. So he marries his first cousin, which is breaking a law, just does it anyway. So when I saw Elendil leave, which fulfilled what was in the Palantir, that also confirmed to me that, okay, we're really sticking with lore, because they're setting up for that is going to happen between the two of them.
Yeah, that'd probably be the opening scene of season 3.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely forced, Mina. It's
Oh no, yeah. But a piece that was not in my rundown for it, we see like the villain of the season, Kimmin, go and does anybody want to talk about that? Do we want to jump into that? Jen, let's jump in.
Okay. Can I just say that actor had the best face?
Dog.
When he saw Isildur, the look on his face was priceless.
Yes.
Whoever, I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I meant to write it down, but your face in that moment, sir, when you looked at him was like, like he's alive. It's like, surprise!
I know, right?
Yeah.
But then that moment too was so powerful, because the moment he felt the hug, he was like,
right, something different about it.
Something
like,
doesn't feel right.
No, he's like, what's wrong? What happened? No. And then just like his father, because he's a little
you know what?
Peacock,
yeah,
he says something to trigger Isildur, and like his father, he goes for him, and the guard's like, no, dude. He's like, I should have just killed your father. What?
I know, right?
What do you think is gonna happen? Like, he's just gonna stand there, dude.
His the name of the actor is Leon Wadham, Wadham. I think that's how we pronounce it. Wadham.
Leon, great face.
Good job. Good job.
That is the best OS face I have ever seen in cinema.
Yeah, but we saw like Isildur trying to get, steal someone's girl essentially, or steal.
No. Like, he wasn't trying. He had already stolen her. She's in love with him.
She like the fact that she even said to him, I thought what love felt like the way he was kind to me. And then I met you, and I'm like, oh crap, this is what love really is. Dad frick.
Yeah.
Like, she had a realization a little too late.
He's doing a great job because he is.
So that whole thing,
another mark of a good actor. If you end up hating the person by the end of the movie or show, they did their job.
Well, the true one is going to be if I see him in something else and be like, I like him. He could be a hero. Like, come on.
Well, no, like the actress who, oh goodness, in Harry Potter, who wears all of the pink, that teacher.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I've watched that actress over the years in many different movies and TV shows, and now Umbridge, Mrs.
Umbridge,
Professor Umbridge, Mrs. Umbridge, the Umbridge. Every time I see her, it's just like I hear that laughter, and I'm just like, dag frick, woman, you're good.
Oh yeah, that's the mark of a great actor, that actor right there. But again, we were short in that one. I guess they're going back to Numenor, right, with Isildur. So he's gonna see his father's not there anymore. Father doesn't know that he's alive either. So they're just
he doesn't even know he just left Numenor.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I get it. Right.
Anxious to see that. We saw Theo, Jen, hold on to the end. We'll go over that. But
I have comments.
but that was that moment there. Moving on just a little bit more. Like we said, we went to Numenor for that little quick drop off there. And we get to the part, you know what? Let's jump to the stranger. Let's jump to that because
my guy,
we get finally a name for him. We start off as Grand
my
Elf.
guy.
Goodbye, Grand Elf.
My guy.
Everyone on the interwebs who did not believe me and said I was wrong. Everyone that said, nope, you are wrong. That's not who it is. Thank you, Schoolhouse Rock, for teaching us about context clues, because that, from the beginning, as I've been saying from season 1, is Gandalf the freaking Grey.
What she just said.
There it is. Yeah.
I got really emotional in this moment where he, like, for me, this was another one that I got really emotional because what I loved about this scene was where we started with Nori and Poppy and they first find him. One of the things Nori kept saying, I feel like I meant to help him. I feel like he needs me. And when we come back to this scene, what's laying right next to Nori?
Yes, right there. And it drops down. And I'm like,
she places it down. And I thought, what a beautiful poetic moment that the person he meets, who she felt she was destined to help him at some point, is the one that has the staff next to her. I was like, oh my gosh, this
I know, right?
Wonderful. Hey, look who's here. We have
everybody. The princess wanted to say, "Hey,
hello."
All right,
you look great.
Okay.
But no, like I found that that really dope too. Because because just being able to help, like it was her purpose to help him, and it just dropped. There's the staff right there. And then obviously not taking the temptation of the Dark Wizard too, where I was like, come on. You look like a villain, brother. I don't trust anything you're saying.
If you look at the stone in the last scene that we get, that we're doing a soft push on him, the stone is actually a symbol of the Eye of Sauron.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the Eye of Sauron.
If you look at it,
It actually looks like the tower in Mordor.
Yep, it does. Really.
Okay, I could see that, but I didn't think of because the way it is shaped.
If you look at the stone, especially in the middle, it's almost like orange hot, like his eye.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, this was a beautiful moment. And 2 gifts were going off in my mind. Sheldon Cooper holding the bowling ball where he says, my brain is bigger than everybody's. And then the swimming gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
When this reveal happened, because I was so elated that we finally got the confirmation that he is Gandalf.
And the good thing too is that like after this, he goes and chills with Tom Bombadil, and they just sing songs the whole night. Like I felt like that was a really dope scene.
Well, no, it's like what I mentioned a few episodes ago. When we were talking about the context clues, that this is definitely Gandalf. Is that in the ending of the Return of the King and in the appendices, Gandalf spends a lot of time with Tom Bombadil. Like they have a friendship, so he spends a lot of time with him. So the fact that we see the beginnings of them together, and for those of us that know the books and the lore, knowing where it's going, it's just like, yay.
Oh yeah, and even got it in from Mina too.
Yeah, he's always singing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we talked about character arcs and things like that, right? And to see where Gandalf started to where he is now, finding his name, finding his staff. And I guess after this, we sort of find his purpose there, or his full-on purpose too. I'm looking forward to that because we know where he ends up in like later stuff. But this little time period between now and then, or The Hobbit, I'm looking forward to sort of seeing what he and Tom Bombadil get up to. I feel like that's a buddy comedy movie just waiting to be made.
Well, also according to lore, Gandalf actually has different names for the different communities of people that he's in. So the way he moves about and helps people, he gets different names.
Oh, really? Does he?
Yeah, he actually has many different names in the Lord of the Rings lore. So when he's amongst the hobbits and people similar to him, he's Gandalf. I think when he's, I actually should have wrote down all the names, but he actually has quite a few different names in Tolkien lore.
Interesting. Doc,
Yeah,
what about Gandalf, man?
Dude, I love him. One of my favorite characters ever. What did I tell y'all last week? What if his destiny is to go and save Nori? That's the path he's supposed to choose. Because he had to go through that adversity of his friend, so-called friend, trying to get him to come to the dark side, you know? Like Sauron did, tried to get him to come to the dark side. But him finding his staff was a really, really great moment. And all I could think about was the third time we got a good look at that staff and how, like, you know, gnarled it was in the Lord of the Rings from how beautiful it is now. You know, I'm just thinking about the journey he's getting ready
Wear
to
and
go
tear.
on.
I know, right?
You know, all the magic that he has to, you know, ensnare in that, you know, in that staff. I want to see that journey, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some wear and tear on that thing by the time we see it.
Another thing Gandalf does, if you pay attention in the original movies, his pipe, Gandalf always puts his pipe in his staff.
See, I missed that.
Yeah, you see it in a few moments. Like if he's like having a long dialogue with another character, you see his pipe in his staff. He always puts his pipe in his staff.
That's
I've seen those.
One of Jen's gems.
Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen the movie forever, and a lot of times, and I don't remember. Okay, got 3 things to go back and watch.
I'll send you
3 things to go back and watch.
Look at this seed. It's right there.
That's 3 words, but I guess just to round off.
Yep.
She's saved. Galadriel saved by the rings. That, you know, we went through it a little bit. That, you know, Elrond helped out, and then we get to that moment of like, what we're gonna do is fight or flight, right? And obviously they pick fight. So Jen, we talked about a little bit about this scene and the ending. Give us again, I guess, just that moment and what this is leading to possibly for the next few seasons.
So this is Rivendell. This is what's going to become Rivendell and other elven woods that are protected by the 3 rings, because Galadriel lives in a different wood from Rivendell that's protected under her power from Sauron, which is the protection of the 3 rings that they reference in the show. And this scene is really beautiful because there is a painting that I believe Tolkien did himself of what Rivendell looked like, and this scene they took inspiration from that painting. Dion, I think I DM'd it to you on Instagram as someone who referenced it. So they choose fights because this is also leading up to the War of the what Mina mentioned before, the War of the Ring, and then this is going to be the establishment of Rivendell, where Elrond will rule from.
Mm-hmm. Doc, what do you think this ending, man?
Enough
to tease next season?
And excuse me right quick. I was texting somebody who's trying to get in on the link. I had to pull out another sword. Man, the moment the king raised that thing up and they started to cheer, and your boy Bear McQuarrie hit the downbeat on that track, boy. I've been telling y'all all season, what is the biggest thing I love about this show? It's the music, man.
You know what?
I am so looking forward to next season.
One of my favorite instruments that I wished I would have learned to play myself is the cello. So to your point with the music, when I started hearing the cellos go off, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear cellos like that in a film score, it's building up to something.
Do you know?
It gets me excited, and
What,
the cello is my favorite instrument. I've always wanted to learn how to play it. So for me, that's just like yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument to play. But the moment the music started to pick up, do you know the first thing I saw in my head when the screen went black is that opening scene where they're fighting Sauron and Elrond is on the front line with his sword putting in work. That's what I saw. The music take you there.
But that's the anticipation of what we're hoping to get through 5 seasons, right?
Exactly.
Like to make that last season, maybe that last season, I suppose, that battle. Again, if we get 8 episodes to at 70 minutes a pop, almost per episode, 65 to 70 minutes a pop. That should be one hell of an episode for that I can just press play and I'm going to Lord of the Rings.
I've actually thought about this since we have 3 more seasons that we're going to get out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What I would personally love as a fan, and if the Rings of Power, if you're watching this, you can take this and not give me any credit. I don't need it. What would really be cool is after we see all of these stories and we get to season 5 and we see the battle and we conclude and Isildur takes the ring and keeps it and the ring betrays him. It would be so cool that if we land on Frodo Baggins in the cave with Gollum finding the ring and the screen goes black, no credits, because we know where we are. I would love that.
That would be awesome.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that made me.
Like people will think like, oh, we're gonna end when the ring betrays Isildur and it ends there. No, take it a little further. Let's go to black screen when Bilbo picks up the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
See? Chill.
Because now I'm thinking once he doesn't destroy the ring, there's a lot of time in between that and Bilbo picking it up, right? So
over 200 years.
Oh my, okay.
Over 200 years before it gets to Bilbo, and then it lives with Bilbo until he's 111 years old. And then it goes to Frodo, and then the ring stays in the Shire for another 17 years before we actually go on through the Fellowship of the Ring. That's book lore.
Yeah, but that's so wild. Like when you put it in years in terms like that we know for like that's a long time for that ring to just be killing in the Shire, man.
That's a
ring
time.
Of that magnitude to be killing in the Shire.
That's what happened. But it again, it shows the prophecy coming true of what Celebrimbor says. Someone that you have no idea of is going to be your downfall, and it's a hobbit.
So any other loose ends that we want to tie up? We got 2 more little segments to put.
Doc, do you want to go first? Because I have a few too.
Because it's one part y'all missed. Because when I heard this. Let me tell you something. When I heard that, I knew them doors was coming, boy. Y'all forgot about them doors, boy.
Oh yeah, when the horn went off, and I loved.
Out of my seat, I said, "The doors are here. The doors are here."
I literally yelled, "Durin!" And then I loved the face of the High King. He went, "Dwarfs!" And he went to town. And then all the elves were like, "Let's go!" And they just started wrecking shop.
Thank you, man. I told y'all last week. What if your man sent half the army there?
Well, technically, he sent the whole army because Balrog was handled. He's like, okay, go.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else they could do there, so he sent them. Okay, to jump back to that real quick, how do you think Elrond felt when he didn't see Durin there?
Well, it goes back. It's a callback to when he comes to ask for help, and they basically ask real quick, "How you doing?" He's like, "I'm about to overthrow my father."
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that when Narvi says to him,
"Oh, he's in mourning,"
Durin's in mourning, that means he knew it. What he probably figured out. God, Balrog.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right.
Like you have to remember, Elrond is very wise. He's a very wise elf, and now that he doesn't have the power of the ring yet, but he's very wise and he knows of things going on with the dwarves from Durin. So it's not hard for him to put 2 and 2 together, like, oh no.
Right.
To have that realization of what happened.
Jen, any other loose ends you'd like to tie up?
Yeah, Glug went thunk.
I was so happy when he got stabbed.
Glug,
Yeah.
that was my exact note, and I was like, Glug went thunk.
But at the end of it, I was like, you had to know this was coming. Like,
and at the same time, I was like, dude, you just had a baby with a female orc. You sold your soul to the devil.
Let me tell you, first of all, I didn't even know they had those because we didn't see none of them in the Lord of the Rings.
Well, there's a reason for it.
Ugh.
There's a reason for it. In Tolkien's other letters that he wrote after the writing of the books, he actually writes about the civilization of the orcs. There are female and family in the orc community. It's just the ones that we are introduced to are just the orcs that go to war. You just see them from the war perspective, not from a community perspective. So for everyone that freaked out about the wife and the baby, that's Tolkien lore. He wrote about it. It exists.
Well, good.
Yeah, talk about a spin-off series, just like an orc that isn't in war, is going to work, has a family.
Would you watch that? Would you watch that?
Well, you remember they tried to do that with like the insurance cavemen. Remember they tried to make a sitcom.
You mean Captain?
Yes.
No. What was like was it a progressive?
Psycho cavemen, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh.
Yeah. They tried to make a series of it was just a caveman.
Yeah,
series in present day.
Like that bit actually got popular, and they were trying to make it into a show, but there was not enough traction for it.
No, I don't. I think it was okay for a 30-second commercial.
Yeah,
not a 30-minute television show.
So, the other thing, like going back to it, where we were talking about the official name drop of Gandalf, like there was other things that were happening that I also love, where Poppy says, "Don't be a stranger anymore," and then they do the name reveal. Oh, thank you, Gandalf. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Thank you. But then like they're actually coming to a true parting of the ways, where they've come to the end of, okay, this is it. You have to go your path. I have to go to mine. Because now Nori is going to help the Stewards on their first migration, which eventually leads to founding the Shire.
The Shire, yeah.
So
that's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so good. But yeah, Glug went thunk, and then Poppy saying, "Don't be a stranger." Don't be a stranger. It's like, thank you.
A great close to that one. So, but Jen, I want to hand this over to you. So the first slide that we have here now are
yes,
just a combination, and the second slide is who you think it is, but I will give it to you, and you just let me know when you want to move on to.
I just want to establish that for 2 seasons, Theo's hair did not move. Look at all of these beautiful characters before us. Elves, red shirts, dwarves, all of them have ears showing, both dry, wet, and in wind. And what happens to Theo's hair? It doesn't freaking move at all.
Not a single time.
Nope. Even when it's cut with the flip, you got nothing. The hair is wet. Nothing. Just all these other characters with ears showing, and not this boy.
What if he is though?
So what? So what is your insinuation?
Like that corner picture in the corner. That is his turn. This boy is a half elf.
But what is he? What if he is? Is that why he can heal so good?
Probably.
Yeah, even the flip, the one at the bottom, like not even a peak of a tip of the ear.
I found him in all seasons of this show. Nothing. Nothing. So his hair never moves. Never.
Yep, it never.
I would have never paid attention to that until you said something.
Like, well, here's another theory about Theo, though, about these people. it's a lot of fans are theorizing, which I am actually agreeing with, is that this group of people that's in this Numenor colony
And Barrett.
that's no longer a colony. What's the name again?
It's Barrett.
Pelagir.
I thought it was Barrett.
I think that's the mother's name. Anyway, Pelagir.
I think was
There is the army that Aragorn goes to get in the mountain that betrayed Isildur, that didn't keep up their word when they needed to go to battle, and Isildur curses them. Fans are theorizing that this is going to be the group of people that happens with Isildur with. That these are going to be people that fly, that don't keep their word to Isildur, who Isildur curses. That will be the ghost we see in the Return of the King at battle when they answer the call.
That's a good theory too.
That's a new theory, and Theo would be one of them if the theory is correct and he stays with them and doesn't go.
That would be interesting.
Well, that's a really good theory. I like that a lot.
Yeah, but that's a new theory going around. We don't know yet, but the way they're setting things up, it's a strong possibility. So we'll see.
Well, we haven't seen tip of his ears. We still think he's, I guess, half elf. He's somewhere in this whole lore, but hey.
He's a half elf unless they say otherwise.
Or show you his ears, right?
Yes. Just show the ears. Why are you gatekeeping?
So a few things from this season. I wish I would have pulled up pictures for it, but Doc, I'll give it to you. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through three things. Best moment of season 2, breakout character of season 2, and who's our season 2 MVP. So Doc, I'm going to toss it to you. Moment of season 2. The 8 episodes worth. 8 episodes worth.
Was when Celebrimbor really realized who Sauron was when he was flipping from in happy bliss to my forge is messed up. That moment right there, that dude, I forget his name. He's a really good actor, man.
So yours would be Celebrimbor's
moment of realization.
All right,
that's when the whole thing changed.
Yeah.
That moment was when the whole entire season 2 changed.
All right. And Jen, what about you? Best moment of season 2?
There's so freaking many, but I'm going to stick with it. The moment of where I was right. He is Gandalf.
I mean, you're right. You're right on the money, Jen.
I'm being a little petty. There's actually so many good moments. It's actually hard to pick just because the acting is so impactful, and especially this last episode with certain monologues that just hit so well. For me, like, I really did get emotional when they did the true revelation of Gandalf, because to me it's just like seeing an old friend after so long. It's like, what up, dude? So good. I'm so happy you're here. I knew it was you. So I got really emotional about that. But yet I feel like there's so many that you just don't want to give credit to them all. But I'm going to go with that one. Just that's what they're going to call me, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, they are.
Well, on that same page of Celebrimbor, mine would be like his defiance at the end. Granted, he's made the rings. He's done everything like that. But that moment in this episode was like, I don't know. I went back and rewatched it. That's the one I was like, this is a really dope scene to see. And he's about to die. He's being tortured. But yet Sauron, who's manipulated him throughout the entirety of this season, gets nothing from him.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more.
And he prophesized Frodo.
So Doc, yours was obviously Celebrimbor comes to a realization for your best moment of it. Gandalf, Jen's best moment, probably the whole series. I know it's Gandalf.
so good.
and mine was obviously Celebrimbor's sort of redemption for that. So those are the 3 best moments. Breakout character of the season. Doc, out of everybody we have, and I figured you say that, Jen, but Doc, breakout character.
Who did Jen say?
You didn't hear?
No.
Jen, I'll give it to you, Jen. Your breakout character of the year.
Disa.
Of the season.
Disa. That beautiful dwarven woman. I love her. Disa, I want to be besties. Teach me how to make some stew.
No, she was great.
Yeah.
This was her season.
Just even from season 1, just from when she enters the stage, she goes, "Is that Lord Elrond? You're staying. And the way she just goes about, she goes, how about 150? And she gives him extra coin, or Doran doesn't want to do it. Like, she has such a big heart. And even though she can see behind the veil through many things, she still supported Doran in the way he made decisions. Granted, there were times Doran did listen to her, but then I felt like the respect in their relationship she had for him, just to be like, okay. And how she was there for him when he actually got vulnerable and emotional with her, like, that's my father.
Yeah.
I still see him in there, and that she just met him where she was. Disa. 1,000,000%.
No doubt about it. I'll go with mine, Doc. You feel like you're still looking, or you think
No.
You're...
I know who mine is. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'll give it to you. Go ahead. I'll go last.
I want you to go, sir, because you always give it to us. Take the ball.
Yeah, go first for a change, man. Go ahead.
Well, okay then. Thank you. So my season 2 character was Elrond. I enjoyed every single piece that he was in this season.
Yeah.
We saw him battle. We saw how smart he was. We saw, like, in the first season, he was too clean, man. Like, we need to throw some dirt on him, you know?
It's too little sharp put together.
Yeah. We need to get him dirty. He got dirty this season. He got dirty this season.
He kissed his future mother-in-law. He got dirty.
Yeah.
But no, he was my favorite character this season, my breakout character of the season. I enjoyed him in season 1, but really, really enjoyed him this season. But yeah, that's my breakout character. Doc, who you got?
Yeah, and he's the main character, Sauron, bro. He's literally broke out.
Yeah.
Breakout character of the year, breakout actor of the year. That dude deserved all the Emmys. Do you understand? Because he took you through every emotion.
Yes.
From when he was just sludge in the pond or whatever he fell off.
I know, right?
Sludge in the pudge.
You feel me?
I still replay that scene of him climbing up
On
into
that
wagon for some reason.
Took her last drink.
Yeah.
She was out of there. Do you understand me?
He had one good swig, and that was it.
And then your man stood out the back of that way. And from this progression of that to where he was with the peacock feathers and the black on black with gold trim, bro. Yeah, breakout character.
Charlie Vickers really played. That's the only thing I've known him in, because I looked at his IMDb and I was like, I don't think I've seen this. He's a newer name.
Yeah, I don't even know that guy. And yes,
he is phenomenal. I will just keep saying it. The actors that they picked for these characters and how they showed up, just this show needs to get Emmys.
Yeah, they deserve all of them.
Music, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Music, costume, acting, story.
The Balrog moment with King Durin going at it,
everything. Yeah,
literally.
So one more little category we have is our most valuable player, our MVP of the season.
Why are you gonna make me jerk?
Doc, I'll let you go first. Like, who's your MVP of season 2?
Yo, man, I gotta give us a jump, man. Ski. Hey, bro. King Durin for the WIN for your boy. Look, my man, the jump.
Come on. How can you beat that moment?
Come on, bro. Man, I didn't expect that. He took that ring off and had that moment of clarity, because that's all he had was a moment.
That's all he did have.
And
I have that quote too.
Oh, Jen, go ahead. Give it to us.
Go ahead.
Like when that whole moment again was powerful. Father and son basically like talking to each other about values, the importance of what he raised him in. And he brings up, I remember when I was a wee lad and I wrestled with you and you let me win. And in this moment, he took off the ring. The first thing he said, I never let you lift your hand.
Yeah.
It was you, just you getting stronger. King Durin.
Yeah.
And then, ha!
And just know every time you emulate his voice, it made me want to blow my pops.
That sounds, I don't think it sounded like that, but
you actually have why am I blanking out?
Those are my daughter's bagpipes. She wanted bagpipes for Christmas. So our friends got Elise bagpipes for Christmas. So I just got her some new reeds. So yeah, I had to pull them out tonight.
Oh, I love it.
So Jen, your MVP, since King Durin got basically he won the award of one play.
Dude,
I mean, no, I have to.
That's how impactful it was, bro.
No, I have to second it just because, again, going back to character arcs where we first meet him in season 1, seeing his character, and then just this guy's acting and how Durin loses his mind. And the way he, like, even in the look of his eyes, like, way he changes the look in his eyes and how you see that he's just getting lost. And then this moment where he truly comes back to himself and he knows he's going to die, but doesn't care. And just this one moment at MVP of season 2 right here, King Durin.
What a moment. What a shot.
I rewatched this
bro.
Like 5 times.
I've watched it more than that.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so my season 2 MVP, I went for a homer. This is my season 2 MVP. Jen, you've been great this entire season.
Most
from start
definitely.
to finish. You are my MVP.
You deserve the crown.
I know, right?
Just don't give me a ring.
The crown.
But no, from knowing lore to helping us out on certain characters to pronunciations, even you've been our MVP for season 2. This has been a fun 8 shows that we've done so far.
We're gonna do the rest of them.
So far, right? This is the end of our journey for now.
Yeah.
But man, it's been a great season 2. Our MVP, Jen off the top rope.
Yes.
So much. I've had so much fun doing this. Thank you both for having me on. I've enjoyed this so much. Thank you.
It's been fun. Man, anything before we get out of here? Anything else that we missed? Any little thing? Last words, I guess, until season 3.
I think they hyped it up, man, for everything they were looking for from season 1 building up until now. Man, I think they got something on their hand that's a true banger. You hear me?
Special shout out to the Queen for taking it and throwing it in the ocean.
Hey, for sure. Yes. She did take one.
And facing the sea monster.
Yeah, man.
Facing the sea monster while blind. She can't see.
Yeah.
That was
the thing.
Yeah.
Just in utter darkness the entirety of her.
And the
darkness within darkness. She's cold and wet, but it's dark.
When she said it shouldn't be hard for the blind to lead in darkness. I mean, that was one of the greatest quotes of the whole show, man.
Oh.
No, I will say the first 3 episodes we had to set the table. I was okay with it, but we had to. Seeing where we went to after that, I was like, I'm glad they gave them all to us in 1 week. Now, since looking back, because I was like, we can binge them in that week and we're done, and then we get fresh the next week. So pretty smart on their end to be like, okay, this is all table settings. They're gonna eat second week of this thing. So I was okay with that.
No, I really appreciated that because also with the time gap between season 1 and season 2, I thought that was really smart that, we know a lot of you watch season 1 and you know this, but we're going to put this here just because it's been a little while There's stuff we're setting up, so we want to give some context. And for people who are not going to watch season 1, here's what happened.
Yeah. This is how we got to this point, and
here's what you missed.
It was looking back now, perfect move to sort of get the ball rolling for this
Very
season.
smart.
Mm-hmm.
This is for me, like when I do my Star Wars rooms, when we review shows in there, our number one rule is we never call anything a filler until we see the whole season, because we don't have all the information. So I can safely say there is no fillers in this episode whatsoever.
There wasn't any room for it, honestly. Even with the long run times, there was no room.
No time for unnecessary fluff like Naruto.
Or just your regular, mid-season episode of like, all right, it's Thanksgiving, I suppose.
Hanukkah.
I guess we'll put this in. It progresses nothing.
Let's do a musical episode because we have to wait for people to return from other projects.
Exactly. Okay, that was a Joker thing. I think they talked about the Joker, but we'll talk about that off air.
I was actually referencing Once Upon a Time. That was a bad move.
Okay.
You should not have done that.
Because I think even like Joker 2 is supposed to be like a little bit of a musical, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a way to do
something
it,
like that.
There's a way to do it right.
It's not getting good reviews so far. But
really,
we'll talk about it later. This is Lord of the Rings now. But Jen, let everybody know where they can find you, and the usuals.
Again, thank you for having me for this review. I've had such a great time nerding out and just being a nerd. I really do appreciate it. My name is Jen. You can follow me on my personal handle at Nerdiqua and at rocking_your_bald. That is my podcast called Rocking Your Bald. I'm on TikTok and Clubhouse and Twitch under at Nerdiqua. So follow me there, and you'll see me around again soon, hopefully.
Of course they will. Doc, I opened us up and I was long-winded with my intro. So go ahead and close us out, man.
All right, look, check this out. Y'all know where y'all can find us everywhere, anywhere. All-Star Fandom Show, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Come holler at us, man. Pull up on us, man. Talk to us and we talk back. And look, it's me, Doc. That's Jen, the MVP. And you got Dion up there. We out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Until next time. I'm sorry, my buttons got crossed. All right, here we go. Later.